All right, y'all. I wanted to talk about Branson Robinson, who exploded over the weekend at Georgia with a 99-yard game. Just a huge effort from him. Only on 12 runs. I mean, you're seeing Georgia right now split these runs up for the Dogs, and I mean, it makes a big difference when you're getting later into the season. That's going to add up for Georgia. And you don't want any one player to be the guy that you have to rely on. That's what's so challenging about having a feature back, I guess you could say. But there were some really impressive comments earlier this year about Robinson. And here's what Dell McGee, who's been the running backs coach at Georgia since 2016, and had Isaiah Crowell as a head coach when he was at Carver and Columbus. Obviously he's had Nick and Sony and DeAndre Swift and just Elijah, all the running backs have come through Georgia. Dell McGee has dealt with them. And here's what he said. He said, the way that Branson's built, he's built like a brick house. He doesn't have a neck. He's similarly built in the shoulders to one of my old teammates, Takeo Spikes. Nick Chubb was a good-looking student athlete as well. Branson is more than just muscle. He's very dedicated. He works hard in the weight room, obviously, and strength and conditioning. He's a sharp young man with a lot of promise this year. And so far this year, uh, you know, Robinson's not had a slew of impressive games. Why? Well, he's not played a lot. I mean, when you're going to want to really play to get the yardage, but last week against Auburn, no, I guess a lot of it was in the fourth quarter. I feel like I might be wrong about that, but he had 2 carries for 13 against Oregon, 3 for 12 against Samford, 6 for 32 against South Carolina, where it seemed like he started to kind of get going, and then 3 for 10 against Kent State. But the 12 for 98 total yards and a touchdown against Auburn, he ripped off a 30-yard run. Well, wait a second now. I mean, if we're talking about he's going to be going for 80 yards a game or 65 yards a game. Well, then the other 3 running backs only need to go for 30, you know, and then you're really running the way you want to. And that's not counting Stetson possibly popping off for, a 40-yard run. This gives you more leeway. This gives you more margin for error, and everybody wants margin for error. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. The links down below. Right now, we have that if you purchase the book, you get a T-shirt for free from Red Zone, our friends at Red Zone on Clayton. Pick it up today. But listen, if you do order, which a lot of you have, and the vast majority of you are emailing me, email me, dean@dogpost.com, dean@dogpost, just like the sign.com. If you don't do that and tell me your size, I cannot get you the shirt. You'll just get the book, which is not bad, but this is a better value. You're getting the shirt for free from our friends at Red Zone. Um, I think the comparisons to Nick are gonna be natural because of the way both guys look. Um, it took Nick until the Missouri game, I guess. It might have been a little bit before that. Like he had a great run against Clemson in 2014. He didn't do a ton, I don't remember, against South Carolina in 14, but then Nick really kind of took off from the Arkansas game on, the Missouri game and the Arkansas game on. He was just, I don't know if he was their best back, but he was an amazing running back for Georgia right when they needed him. And they needed him at that moment. Yeah, so like against Clemson, South Carolina, and Troy, Nick Chubb had 12 total carries. One of them against Clemson, obviously, he had 70-yard total there. Against Tennessee, it was 11 for 32 yards, so not a ton with a 20-yard reception. But after the Vanderbilt game, after Todd got hurt, here's what that guy did. He went 38 for 143 against Missouri, 30 for 202 against the Hogs. I mean, that was nuts. He went 21 for 156 against the Gators, 13 of 170 against Kentucky, 19 for 144 against Auburn, 9 for 13 against 113 against Charleston Southern. Against the Jackets, he went 25 of 129 for 129, 25 for 129. And then just another amazing 30-yard carry, a 30-touch carry, 33 for 266 against Louisville. Branson Robinson, I don't think should be asked to carry the ball 20 plus times a game. Certainly not 30. I think maybe he could do it, the 20 plus, but you've got four good backs right now. Edwards is playing really well. Um, he is an impressive player. I'm just getting the news now that Branson Robinson was named Freshman of the Week. I'll read you the release right now. This is the Bulldogs' fifth SEC Weekly Award following yada, yada, yada. Robinson had career highs of 12 carries for 98 yards, including a career long, it's easy enough for me to say, career long 30-yard run. Scored his first touchdown during the Bulldogs' 42-10 rout of the Tigers. Thanks in part of Robinson's play, Georgia tallied 292 yards on the ground and 208 in the air to average 7 yards a play. We talked about that over the weekend. I think, to me, and I've talked about this, and I think I'm going to continue to talk about it. I did not anticipate that this would happen necessarily at this juncture. We've seen where Georgia's at, and what I didn't anticipate was, oh, there's yet another running back, right? That is going to play. I thought Robinson maybe needed a little bit of time. No, apparently not. Now, it's one game, and one game doesn't make a season. But if Kendall Milton needs a little time with the groin situation, you've got a little time now. But here's where Georgia is at with these running backs, y'all. This is what's so, sort of impressive, generally speaking, about this program right now. You've got four running backs. I am not counting Stetson Bennett in this, but you got four running backs. Edwards has 49 carries. Milton has 46. McIntosh has 44. And then now you've got Robinson with 26. They go 287 for Edwards in yardage, 287 for Kendall, 205 for Kenny, 170 for Robinson. In terms of receiving, this is where you see Kenny jump to being extremely important when the stats will load for me here, because he's one of the most active guys in Georgia's passing game. He's their number 3 receiver. Kenny has 26 receptions for 250 yards. Then it takes a little time to get to the next running back, which is Kendall Milton, who has 4 receptions for 65 yards, which is not bad. Remember that one long play. Now Branson has 1 reception for 2 yards. You've got the guys. Now, there's no one superstar. It doesn't feel like Georgia has a traditional college running back superstar on their team right now. It doesn't. But you have to ask if Zamir and James could be non-superstars for their careers at Georgia. They were not superstars. They were really, really good running backs. They were better than these guys are right now. But they were not superstars. If you can win the national championship with those two guys, can you win it with these 4? And I think the answer is yes, but my caveat there is there's got to be more explosive plays in the run with like home run hitting, like we're gone, touchdown on a 60-yard run or a 50-yard run. That's the only thing that's missing that I've seen. There is no Garrison Hurst on this team. There's no Sony. There's no DeAndre Swift where one cut and they're gone. That's not what Georgia is. The explosive plays are there. They're just not really for touchdowns. And this past game, you saw Georgia score 6 rushing touchdowns, y'all. 6. That's a lot. But none of them were really long runs that I can remember. Now, I could be wrong here. I look like a real idiot. That's not anything new, right? Yeah, against Auburn, and Georgia's statistical page just takes a second or two to load. I don't know why. But Kenny, 1 yard run. Dijon Edwards, a 1 yard run. Edwards, 2 yard run. Stetson, 64 yard run. That counts. Edwards, 7 yard run. And then Branson with a 15 yard run. 15 yard run, that's pretty explosive, actually. So maybe, if you had the capability to pop a 40 yard run, but that's not. I'm starting to complain, and that's not what I mean to do. You've got a guy now with Robinson who has become an explosive player in a way that, has become a steady player. 100 yards, 98 yards, that's a lot, y'all. And I think that that's something that folks should be really pleased about heading into the stretch run of this season. Thanks for watching.